What's going on, guys? It's Radar here, doing something a bit different today. I've decided to do a series called A Helping Hand. So the aim for this series is to make some quick how-to guides along with any tips and tricks that I feel like passing on to the wider YouTube audience. Now, the aim of all these videos will be to get them under 20 minutes so that they're quick and accessible. Now, the first video in this Helping Hand series will be the path to the V8 Supercar. Now, here I'll go over what I think is the best path to take to reach the V8 Supercar within iRacing. And a reminder, this is just my opinion, so take it as that and don't assume that what I'm saying is the way you have to do it. There are many different ways, and the path I took to get to the V8 Supercar is whacked. I went through all the lower class cars and then I went to GTs and prototypes, and I'm like, yeah, we'll give the V8 a whack. So don't take what I'm saying as the way you have to do it. Put your own little tweaks on it, but this is just what I think is the best way to reach the V8 Supercar. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the obvious place you have to start when you sign up for iRacing is the Mazda Cup. So the first car would be the MX5 Cup car. Now the Mazda is just a basic rookie car within iRacing, and because it's a rookie car, it gets a bit of a bad name in the public eye. It's actually not that, it's just the racing within rookie sucks. The car is great, it's good fun to drive. They made a lot of tweaks to it in recent builds to make it just a superb car. Now, this is the perfect car to cut your teeth in. It's forgiving enough that if you're an inexperienced driver, you won't be punished too much for just making little mistakes, missing gears or just getting a bit loose. You'll be able to catch it and bring it back and keep continuing with your race. But it's challenging enough that it would take more than just a quick 20-minute practice session to be comfortable with the car and be able to race it proficiently. Now, the big thing that this car builds is the driver's fundamental abilities. Now, these include heel and toe downshifts, because it's a fully clutch activated 6-speed gearbox in the Cup car. There's no automatic cut-off in this thing, it's very bare bones. And also how to be comfortable with the mess that can be a standing start. Standing starts are a mess most of the time, as you'll notice from some of the videos with the V8 and that sort of stuff. They're pretty messy. So due to the rookie series is held predominantly on short circuits. So you got lots of cars within close proximity. It's a fixed setup in a spec car, so the racing is very close. And given that new drivers aren't exactly the most competent in the game, it's just because they're new, it's the perfect place to form the fundamentals of racecraft. Wreck avoidance, just in general, getting the basics of how to drive a car fast in a group of cars is what you're getting out of the MX5. Later on, when you progress to other vehicles, then you'll be able to get into more the in-depth with racecraft, but MX5 Cup car is the perfect place to start because you have to start there. So that's the first car to go through. Let's head on to the second car. So for me, the second car you would progress into would be the Ford Mustang. Now, many guys out there would say go for the Cadillac as soon as you hit E-Class if you're looking to drive the V8 Supercar. I tend to go against this logic and suggest people drive the Mustang for a bit. And the reason behind this is because the handling characteristics between the Mustang and the V8 Supercar are very similar. They're both big cars with big motors with very undergripped tyres, if that's the best word I can find, for what the output of the car power-wise is. And also the braking distance are the size of a continent. That's a big thing as well with these two cars. So that's the reason I drift away from the Cadillac logic. The logic behind the Cadillac is completely valid too, and I'll get into that later on. The thing I find, and it's just a personal opinion, is that if you get into a big heavy race car early on, you can easily make the transition to the lighter, faster cars such as the Cadillac, because it's a bit lighter and a bit more racy. But it's difficult to go the other way. That's just something I've found. Driving the V8 all the time, I find it's very easy to get into an Indy car, a prototype, a GT3, where there's tons of grip, tons of power, and it just does what I want it to do. But if I had started out, which I did, GT3, I find the adjustment to the V8 very difficult, which is why I picked it up and just threw it away very quickly the first time. So that's why I picked the Mustang over the Cadillac. However, the Cadillac is still included in my progression, and that's in the next car, so we'll get on to that. Now, I know I just said the Cadillac was in progression, but yet you're watching a rough drive around Oran Park. That's because there's two cars I include in this third step towards the V8. The Cadillac and the rough C-Spec, not the track. And when you hit C-Class, which is what these two cars are leveled at, you'll most likely want to jump straight into the V8. Don't do this. This is what I did when I hit C-Class, before I progressed to my prototypes and all that sort of stuff, and I absolutely hated the car. And I just wanted it to be like erased from the planet, just gone, blow up, burn, disappear. And it took me so long to actually want to get back in the V8. I think it was about 2 or 3 seasons before I even considered testing it in a private session. So this is where I suggest either driving the Cadillac or the rough C-Spec. Now both cars are similar in the manner you need to drive them. They've both got very similar power outputs and they both handle relatively similarly. So they're more light on their feet than the V8, but they have the same tolerances. The rough has very similar braking distance to the V8. This is why I take this over the Cadillac, because the big adjustment to from a normal race car to a V8 is the distances you have to give yourself to brake. So I picked the rough because of the braking distances, and also it's a bit like the Carrera Cup back here in Australia, and I think it's all around the world, the Carrera Cup as well. So it's a bit like that in that sense, which is a stepping stone to the real V8s here. So I just picked the rough C-Spec out of personal preference for it, but the Cadillac and the C-Spec are both very valid cars for this progression towards the V8. And this is the last step before we hit the V8. So we'll go ahead and have a little chat about the V8. Now hopefully by this point you've been able to keep your license level in C-Class, you haven't been demoted because of incidents and other stuff, and you've picked up along the way some very valuable skills in regards to racecraft and just in general driving cars fast. So now it's time to make the move up into the V8. Now at first you may hate this car with a passion, simply because it's entirely different to any other car in the service, in the iRacing service, but give it a chance. This is why it's difficult to get a set in stone path for this car, because it's so unique. Every different driver there will say, oh no, drive this car to get used to the V8, drive this car. And this is again what I think is the best logical progression forward to the V8. But one piece of advice when you do get to the V8 Supercar is take your time with it. And don't be disheartened when you see the big names posting times that are 2-3 seconds faster than yours. Everyone has to start somewhere, and this is what happened to me. I got a bit disheartened when I first jumped into the V8 way seasons back. I saw guys like miles ahead of me. I'm like, are you serious? I jump in this car and I suck. I'm getting out of here, another car. But everyone has to start somewhere, and I worked when I first jumped back in the V8 again, I worked my way up from 4th split to top split in 2 seasons. So if you put the effort in the V8, you will get the reward. But again, as I said, it takes time to get this car working for you. It's very much a driver-driven car. It's not entirely based on setup. You have a good setup, great, but you've got to be able to make that setup work. So give it a chance. Don't be disheartened when you see guys putting times that are 3 seconds faster than yours down when you first get in the car. And most of all, enjoy the car, because once you pick it up and once you're confident with it, you're not going to want to put it down. It's a car that will stick with you forever. It's just so unique and so fun. So that is my pathway to the V8 Supercar in iRacing. This is also the first video in my Helping Hand series, so give me some feedback on it. Also, I said earlier on, I'm just planning to do some how-to guides, tips and tricks, all this sort of thing, just to kind of give a little bit more in-depth look at iRacing that I don't get in my normal videos, which are just me talking random sentences. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you got something out of it, and hope you enjoyed it as well, and I'll catch you on the flip side.